Peace and blessings, everyone. My name is Reverend Leah Alvarado. I'm with New Thought Northern Colorado Center for Spiritual Living. Welcome to day eight of our 64-day challenge focused on creating peace and nonviolence. Today's topic is recognizing our imperfections as a blessing. Gandhi said, "My imperfections and failures are as much a blessing from God as my successes and my talents, and I lay them both at God's feet." Gandhi tells us to remember that all that we are is a blessing. Our path of nonviolence in the world must include accepting that our imperfections and failures are as much a blessing as our gifts and successes. Feeling guilt and shame about our imperfections and failures, lying about them or disguising them, is violence committed against ourselves. In these behaviors, the message we are sending ourselves is you aren't worthy. Where we do this to another, we would recognize the violence in it. But when directed at ourselves, we often miss the self-inflicted injury that we cause. Instead, let us focus on how each of our imperfections and failures can be gifts in the world. Learning nonviolence toward ourselves, seeing all of our gifts and our imperfections, all of our successes and failures as blessings, is the work of nonviolence. Our reflection questions today, I'm going to put them in the chat. So let's look at these together. The first question, what messages do I tell myself that are hurtful and damaging? All of us do this. It's our human nature to beat ourselves up, to not be so kind to ourselves at times. And so it's a good idea to pay attention to what those messages are. What are those thoughts that you find yourself repeatedly saying to yourself that aren't supportive, that aren't loving? And the next question, when I notice my imperfections and failures, what is something I can say or do to myself that is kind and loving? So the first step is noticing when we're doing that. And then the next, what can we do to support ourselves, to be more loving and kind towards ourselves? One thing that we can do is place our hands over our heart and just simply say, I love you. I love you. I love you. It's a reminder to be kind to ourselves. It's such a loving gesture that we can give to ourselves when we catch ourselves focusing on our failures and our imperfections. Our affirmative practice today, let's say that together. I'm going to put that in the chat as well. So let's say it out loud. As we always do, let's just say it out loud wherever you are in your home. I will meditate on my imperfections and failures, seeing how each of them have blessed me as I step along the path to who I am today. Today, I observe how they can be used as gifts to myself and to others. This is the path to nonviolence. So let's just close our eyes for a moment and just allow the breath to drop us into our heart, going within, feeling the vibration of these words and of this truth spoken today. Feeling our commitment to being kind and loving to ourselves. Feeling our heart open as we make that choice and that decision to be kind. to be loving to ourselves, to recognize the blessings and the gifts of our imperfections. Instead of pointing out what is wrong with ourselves, we see the gifts. We see ourselves through the lens of love. And so let's complete our meditation time by once again placing our hands over our heart and just simply saying to ourselves, I love you. I love you. I love you. Let peace begin with you. It begins with each of us. Until next time, look forward to being with you tomorrow evening. Namaste.